Hey, Wally Ho here. Welcome to another episode of Wally Ho's Garage. In this episode, we're going to take our BMW 335xi 2008 and we're going to replace the fuel filter. We got this from FCP Aero. I think it's a Continental, and which is an OEM manufacturer for the BMW. But the reason why is the filter is integrated into this part. This part's like $150-ish, but you won't be able to get just the filter by itself. So we think there might be some clogging, getting some stuttering at high RPM. So let's try to replace this. It has a fuel sending unit here, and the fuel sending unit gives you the how much fuel you have readout in your car. So mine's working fine, but it gets replaced because the whole part comes with that. There are 3 hoses. You'll have to remove the back seats, and then there are 2 positions that you have to unbolt, pull up, and then one side is the fuel filter, and the other side is the fuel pump, the low pressure fuel pump. In the 335 XI, it runs an N54 engine, which has a high pressure fuel pump, which pumps up the fuel pressure to be directly injected into the engine. In this case, what we're doing here is we're replacing the filter that the low pressure fuel pump pumps into, and then this pumps into the high pressure fuel pump. This is on one side and this is on the other. So you should run the tank relatively low in fuel because you have to reach your hand through the tunnel to pull these hoses through. Now what we're going to do is when we remove it, we're going to tie a string to the 3 hoses in the original fuel sending unit, which is what this is. And then when we pull it through, we'll have a string. We'll tie this to the string and then pull it back through. There's a channel, but there's like a bar in that channel. So if you kind of split these like this, you'll get one underneath that bar and one above, and you might not be able to get it all through. So you want the whole thing to go through the one hole. So we'll do that by removing the old pump and putting the new one in. So, there's also going to be a little bit of twisties to get it in because it's kind of a really weird shape, and the hole's only about relatively the size of this. The interesting thing is, when you figure this out, you'll need a tool. I have the OEM tools 25156. There's a metal cap that holds this down against a gasket, and we have 2 new gaskets for that. This fits your socket and allows you to then turn that cap to remove the retainer for the fuel sending unit. But the retainer is also on the fuel pump itself. On both sides, you'll need this tool. Some people use a chisel and they try to knock it with a hammer. That damages the plastic, obviously, and then the lid itself. So don't do that. Buy one of these. The OEM Tools 25156 is not really expensive. It's like 30 bucks. It's well worth it, right, to get it off. So don't try to manhandle it off. Do it the right way and use the right tools. So okay, so let's go into the car, take up the back seats. There's 2 clips, and then we'll start removing the pieces and get this started. We're going to take out this back seat here. Now the interesting thing is you have to have these 2 tools. This one here is to pull off the tabs for the hoses, and same with this for removing the plugs. So let's get a close-up of those. You should be able to pull these out. Just like that. Get it out. All right, and then it's under here. Do you see the 2 sections? So there's 4 like 10mm bolts that we'll remove, and that'll give us access to the fuel filter and fuel pump. So let's do that. We'll kind of lift this back. All right, so we have our 10mm deep socket. So we'll go in here,
back these out. We'll do the other side here. Okay, let's get a tray for those nuts so we don't lose them. Okay, here's our magnetic tray. So we'll collect all the nuts here. The nuts are collected. These should come off. And now you see there's some plugs. It's kind of dirty because I think it's open to the outside. You might want to clean that if you can. Okay, so we'll do a little vacuuming first, get some of the dust out of there, and then we'll start disassembling it. But you can see up close here that there's the cap, and then this tool fits and grabs those little fingers. And so that's how we'll be able to take it off. The whole thing has to unscrew. So that's the step that we're going to have to work on next. So the same on both sides. We're going to do a little bit of vacuuming, but I think what we need to do is do a little washing. It's really dirty. So if we take this tool, we can get up real close here. So you can see, you just kind of grab with this and pull it right out. So use these tools to grab these clips, otherwise it's kind of difficult to get to them sometimes. All right, so we pulled that one out. We'll go for the other one there. I'm going to clean it with some Formula 409. Here we go. Cover that plug, I think. Because if we didn't do this, we might get like dirt in the fuel system, and we don't want that. So, I mean, you can do it without cleaning it. I'm going to use some water and clean it to make sure we don't have any, again, dirt in our fuel system. So I'll do both sides. This side. We'll climb over here and do this other side. Bring in a hose. I'm going to hose this down. So let's get up close with the close-up shot. And you can see now it's super clean, so we're not going to get anything into our fuel system. You see that one? I'm going to blast it out with the leaf blower to get all the water out so we can continue on our journey. But notice how those plugs you have to unplug are no longer covered in dirt, and nothing will fall into the fuel system. And we should be very good in that respect. So yeah, if you want, you don't have to do this. But I would, because the fact that I don't want dirt in my fuel system. The whole reason we're replacing the filter is to make sure all the crap that the fuel filter has filtered out doesn't make it into the high pressure fuel pump and into the engine. So up to you. So in fact, you can tell that the water is working because down here you can see that's the water running out from underneath the car. So that's why that dirt built up there, because it actually is exposed to the outside. So recommend you clean these and blast it with a leaf blower to dry it out. Well, look at the garage. We have our little mini dust blower here, and we'll use that to. So we're basically blasting it to the bottom of the car. So it's wow, a lot of splattering. So we'll get that. Good morning. These are the rings. We cleaned them up really nice, but they screw on and cap the two sides. These go direct into your fuel tank. So let's try to disconnect the hoses on the fuel pump side and pull them through. We'll probably need to add something to catch all the fuel on this side when we pull the thing out. So let's wait for that. All right. Now with the caps all clean and dried, we have our string. The fuel pump is on that side. On the right-hand side of the car, left-hand side is where the fuel sending unit is, where the fuel filter is. So we're going to unplug these two connectors here, and then we're going to try to start the car. And by doing that, it'll pull out all the fuel in the fuel pump, so we won't have fuel spraying when we try to pull the cords out or the tubes out. So that's what we'll do right now. We have this tool, and we have this tool. I think we'll use this one. I think that's the easier one, but have a tool like this that can squeeze so that you don't have to hurt your fingers. So the tool will grab both sides of the unit here. I'll have to get this one out. We'll have to get the tube out first. So let's try the other tool. So if I don't know if you see that little blue switch here, but see how the tool here has a little nib? So put it in there, push on that little blue tab and it pulls it right out. So get one of these tools. Okay, we'll get the other one out and then we'll try to start the car. I don't know if you can hear it, but let's try. Okay, that means the fuel is out. That's good. Oh, it's really tight. Okay, got this one turning. Do the same on the fuel pump side. We can't get the actual the big fuel line out because I think the ring gets in the way. So we'll okay, first let's get the other ring unscrewed first. Yeah, that's really tight. Wow, without this tool, it would be extremely difficult, I would think. Extremely difficult. All right, so now that's loose. So with this, you push the lock and collar that way and then push this in. So let's see if this works. There, got it. So push this in very little and then this will come out. It's got a barb on it. Push these two sides in and then you got to pull it straight out. So use the tool, which can push on both sides at the same time. There we go. Wow, that was really tough. That was really tight. Okay, so now we can pull the ring out. And you notice that the fuel pump kind of pushes out because it's on a spring. So okay, so let's wipe this a little bit. It's got a little bit of dirt on it, but notice how it's way cleaner. I honestly recommend you clean it like I did. Otherwise, it's extremely difficult to keep the dirt out of the fuel pump. So we have to get this big clip here off. And so to do that, we have to get this big clip off. Otherwise, you can't pull the fuel pump up and get to the other hoses. So if you look really close here, you'll see that there's a clip in the back. I don't know if you can see this clip back here. So think of it like a U-clip with an arm here and an arm on the bottom. And if we just basically undo this, and the other side, that little U-clip will go back and this hose will come off. So let's do that and get that off. Pull the top part of the fuel pump off and disconnect the hoses, the 3 hoses that we need to disconnect to get the fuel sending unit added. Actually, I think I'm wrong. I think we squeeze the back and this thing comes off. Let's try that. Yeah, it's correct. It's you squeeze the back and you kind of can twist it. Oh, it comes right off. Look at that. Okay. So it's squeezed the back. Yeah, make sure you have one of these tools. So the back of that U that we looked at earlier, you squeeze that in and it comes out. So I guess you push it, it snaps because there's a ring here. You can see that now after I pull it off. All right, try to get this thing out. Yeah, don't lose those cords. You can look right here and you can see the three tubes. So I think we're going to be good. There's the 2 black pipes there and there. And then there's that one there with a green clip. So we're going to stick this in. We should be able to press that green clip and get that out. That's this one here. I don't know if you can see that. It's going to be difficult. But you see that green clip? We can use these pliers to get that out, and then we can just pop the other 2 off, the 2 black lines down there. So let's do that. So that's what it looks like inside. And our goal is to pop this out, and then these 2 pipes here. We can pull up, I think, the fuel pump a little bit, and get it out. But I don't think we really have to, per se. The 2 black wires, so the 2 black tubes, just pop right there, it's clipped in. I think that kind of overflow to go back into the tank here. But the other one is a connected pressurized tube, it looks like. So yeah, we'll use this to pull it out. So let's go do that. Right, now we're going to pull from this side. I have our tray with a catch. And so that string should come through. So let's do that. So here we are, we're tying the string onto the tube to pull it through. Right. So now we've pulled it out and we've tied the string to the new one. And we're going to pull it through and then connect all the wires. Or sorry, the tubes. I believe the white one is the one that's the closer one. There's like two that looks like this. If you look into the pump there, you'll see there's like two connections from before. So we'll put those back. I think the white goes in the bottom and the black goes on top, and then we lock it in. So let's do that now. But it's like there and there is where the connection would be. So that'll be the white one, that'll be the black one, and there's another connection just past the motor there for the clip. So there's our piece of string that we're going to cut off. We also did find we had to tape it or zip tie it. Otherwise the pieces kind of come apart as you pull it. If you tied all three together and pulled it, that'd be good. But that didn't happen here, so I used blue tape. So I'm going to take the tape off and clip the white and black tube in, and then I will clip in that piece and you'll see it inside the fuel pump. So let's do that right now. And so we're going to, hopefully we'll have enough room to do this. So we're going to have to undo this first. Like this. Get rid of the string. Okay, and we're going to untie this here. So the black one I think goes in first. And it goes in the closer spot right there. So let's move this around, see if we can clip it in, if you can see it. But it's the closer one, right? So, oh shoot. It's very difficult, I think. So let's see if we can lift the fuel pump a little bit. Maybe not. Have to kind of work it through here. It's this one right there, so hopefully we'll get that. Lost our cable. Here it is. So there's that one. And just kind of clip that one in. So now hopefully you can see it. But they're right there and there. Can you see that? So they're clipped in. And then this thing right here, whoops, it's getting in the way. But the fuel pump, if you see, you can see it, there's a little nib right there. That's where this piece goes in. So we'll clip that in. That has a little green clip on it. So hold on. Hear that snap? Make sure it snaps. Okay. So now we have to secure our fuel pump here. And it's got these two kind of metal rods that stick into the fuel pump and kind of orient it. And we got to connect this thing back in. The lighting's really bad here because it's hard to light inside the gas tank. So we need to grab this thing and also the fuel pump. All right, so we used the two rods to kind of orient it. And then I'm going to reach our hand in here, grab the hose, and connect it back. Wow. The fuel pump's moving around because I think the new hose is a little bit longer than the original ones. So you might have a little bit of problem there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to fit the hoses in. Like that. So now we have somewhat control over the fuel pump from swimming around. We've grabbed this thing and we're going to try to force it on. It's the wrong angle. Okay, I think that snapped. I think we can kind of force it in. All right, that looks good. So last thing I'm gonna do is pull out the O-ring. Here we go. Put in the new one. And it's the same thing. There's a tab right here. If you see it, goes right here. So as long as we have aligned all the rubber, I think we have, and the tab, I think it's all good. So let's get the cap and screw it in. And I can't emphasize how much cleaning it is important. Look at how we get our hands completely dirty here. All right, so try to, first and foremost, we're gonna line this up, push it in, drop the metal cap, keep this held in. Oh, we gotta dig this out first. This is the main fuel line that we pushed to the side because we didn't have enough room. So yeah, dig that out first, and then try to turn the retainer cap. All right. So now we get this. Whoops, that wasn't smart. Came right off. So without this tool, it'd be very difficult to get this unit tight enough. Okay, that should be tight. The main fuel line. Ouch. Hear that snap? You know what's in there. This is the, looks like a vent. Make sure it snaps. It's in there. Okay, and then we put the lid back on. But we do that first by putting in this gasket. All right, then we put this piece back on. And we screw it in, and we should be done. Okay, we've pulled the cords through. What you gotta do is you gotta kind of force this thing in, and then you take this and you squeeze. It's on a spring. So you kind of, it's like a U, so you kind of bend it in, I think, that way forward, and then you squeeze this to get the rest of it in. And then once it's in, pull the green O-ring, and you should be able to slide over this and put it back in here, and we'll do the rest over there and hook that up. So let's do that. Putting it back in, there's a tab right here, and it needs to go in the right spot. So you gotta kind of twist it. If you see that there's a hole right here, see that gap right there? That tab has to fit into that, and then you push this ring on. So I can't do it while holding the camera, so we'll push it in and then we'll screw it in. You'll see where that 2 is. Kind of that 2 lines up with this green dot, so you'll see that lines up into that that cavity right there. Okay, so we did put all the screws back there. The funny thing is this cap here only fits one way. Like this screw to that screw, the distance between those 2 screws is different than from here to here and here to here. So it can only fit one way, these caps. So it's really interesting. You probably find that out when you try to put those back. So they're all screwed in, all torqued to spec, and we're gonna put it in the back seat and do a little vacuuming. But our seats are pretty clean. But other than that, yeah, that's it. It's done, not that difficult. Just follow those steps. Overall, that's the unit that we pulled out. If you look really carefully, that's like the fuel sending unit. That tells you the level of the fuel. And then all the piping kind of went brown. So I believe that metal thing there is the actual fuel filter. Or it's possibly that black thing, I don't know. But either way, replacing this is supposed to replace the fuel level sensor, if that's malfunctioning. Mine was not, and the fuel filter, which I think mine was. But either way, it's good to replace it. It's been 184,000 miles. And yeah, so it looks pretty good. But the thing smells like gasoline, so just be prepared for that. But that's the unit you're taking out. So in replacing the fuel pump, I broke the little tab, the little clicky tab here on the plugs to the fuel pump and then the fuel sender. But I found that you can buy these parts, and the part is 967096-1. But the one in your car is a BMW part, and I think this little horseshoe that you see inside here, if you can see it, is blue versus black. Now, this is an AMP company part, and you can get the 967096-1. So we bought some of these. 2 of these, actually. We're replacing both. So what's important is, how do you get the pin out of it? Well, the pin has these little kind of barbs that grab the inside of that of this plug, right? So there's 2 kind of diameters in there, and it goes through one, and then it backs up against the other. You can see that there's these little rubber washers that go behind the wire to make these waterproof here. So, but how do you get it out? Well, I looked at a couple of pin disconnectors, and they don't actually work, because what you need is, I've measured these holes, these ones here, they're 4.6 millimeters in diameter, and then the metal plug here, the diameter of that is 3.6 millimeters. And so you have to have something that has a hole that's at least 3.6 millimeters and no bigger than 4.6 to fit in there, and then also to push down these pins in here. So we found a kit, this kit, that comes with basically all the disconnectors that you need. And this one right here, the M model, fits really well into the hole here, as you can see. So that should be able to meet up with this and push down those barbs in order to then push it out. Now, what's really cool about this is, once you push it in and you keep pushing, there's a piece that comes out in the bottom here that pushes this out. So you push and it pushes this out for you. So these are actually really cool to get. So get yourself a set of these in order to replace these if you break them. And you probably will. My car is like 16 years old, so these are quite brittle. These are nice and flexible here, but the ones in the car were not. So if you're trying to replace your fuel sender unit and you're a fuel filter there, you might need to replace these. So yeah, so look for that part. It's AMP 967096-1. Okay, so let's go to the car and let's replace these. So what we did find out is, do you see the clip here? Typically they change the plugs to put these little barbs so that it can't be exactly interchangeable. So everything's interchangeable except the barb here. There's a little line that goes in here, and we don't have it here, and they put the line up here and we don't have it. So we're gonna basically cut a small slit here, and then this will work. But you probably want to buy the right plug. And sometimes when they put like, you know, a bump here to modify the plug, it's specifically for like BMW. This one actually says BMW. I don't know if you can see it, but it says BMW on it, I think right somewhere there. Simply took a knife and cut out a line to allow it to slip in. The little filing there, and it should be good. We just used a knife and just gently cut back and forth, and eventually it broke. So that should work. Tool, and use this to then pack in the
the rubber that's here, because you have to kind of get around the wire. So this half moon one, or half cut one, is what we use that for. So let's go do that. Okay. So we have the plug here. You can see it's blue, right? And our plug, you can see it's black. So I think it's because it's a BMW part. So push this in. Oh, it came out really nice. Pushes in. You have to twist, looks like. You get it in there, and then you kind of twist, because you got to get all the pins. And you keep pushing. It comes out. So, I think we've got this one out. We have. That one goes in here. And then the second one, there's another tool, I think, for pushing that in. So we'll look for the other tool as well. So let's do this. Okay, got it out. Had to kind of really twist and kind of move it like this, because you're trying to push those barbs in, and then push, and that ejects it. So that's got ejected, and we'll insert it in here. All right, this is the first test after we've made the changes, so it has to pump fuel. Let's see what happens. Looks good. And that's how you replace the fuel sending unit and the fuel filter. If you're wondering about the part 2 for the sunblind install, we were running an oscilloscope and testing the leads out of the JBB. We have an H1 unit, and it is missing what people keep calling the quote-unquote relays. They're not relays. I think it's a D2 pack or a T222 size MOSFET, because I tested all the empty spots to pins 31 and 3, and it comes to switch between a 12-volt supply and those two lines. So I'm assuming there's limit switches in the back. So when basically it's going to pulse on power for X amount of time, and the limit switch will then cut it when it hits the end of the travel for the sunblind. So I'm thinking of trying to solder in some MOSFETs, but I'm trying to determine what they are. If you trace the lines back from where the MOSFETs are, there's another 3-prong circuit that's missing, and it might be a booster of maybe a transistor or something that boosted up from the actual CPU, which sends the signal. I've traced the line back to the CPU. So there's a line from the CPU to this 3 area. I think it boosts the control signal, and then that runs the gate of the MOSFET. So I'm trying to figure out what that is and see if I can just solder one in versus trying to buy a new one and reprogram it. So that's what's happening with that. And still working on that. But I had to do this because, again, a little bit of stuttering in the car. So hope this helps you.